today's programme, Proud Past, Positive Future. From Derry to Paisley, learning from the Derry experience. We have, as you see, a double-hander. Gerard Finnegan has extensive experience in Northern Ireland, especially in ILEX, Northern Ireland's first urban regeneration company, and has been involved in Derry as successful bid for the UK City of Culture. His focus is on regeneration, peaceability, hospitality and agri-food sectors, and he's joined by Stuart McMillan, who's a Renfrewshire Council Policy and Regeneration Manager, and he's led development on a strategic approach to the future regeneration of Paisley. So we're going to hear more about Paisley and the ambitions here, as Mark suggested earlier, very much based on culture and heritage, and a plan that's being about ambitious and transformational for Paisley. Gerard, Stuart, it's yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Scotland's Towns Partnership for an invitation to speak today about Derry's proud past and our positive future. I'm Gerard Finnegan. I'm a strategy consultant, and I work in industry and in regeneration and in further education. And these are three things, when linked together, I'm very passionate about. We've been working on regenerating Derry for the last 10 years or so. Lesson one is, of course, this takes time. There are no shortcuts. We, like you, no matter who you are and where you're from, have a proud past, and we, like you, can have a positive future. If it matters enough to us, to you, to your place. We'll talk today about the importance of your story, the need for ambition, courage, resilience and patience, and putting people, place and culture at the heart of what you do. And there's a big lesson at the end. For those who may not know where Derry is, Derry or Londonderry, it's in the northwest of Northern Ireland on the island of Ireland. We're on the periphery of Europe, the UK or Ireland, or as we see it now, we're right slap bang in the middle of trading links between the US and Europe. We now choose the latter because choosing the former, the periphery argument, and whinging about it did us no good for years. And as Mark said earlier on, he told you a little bit about Paisley's story, and everywhere has got a story. Ours is a complex, conflicting, enthralling, engaging story, which we've embraced and built into our regeneration process. From Columkill to the early Christians in the 6th century, the plantation and the creation of Londonderry in the 1600s, the urban regeneration project of its day. The Apprentice Boys and the Siege of Derry in 1688. Derry was a World War II military base. It was where the Battle of the Atlantic was planned and won from. We had textiles industry peaked in the 1920s. And then the Civil Rights Movement in 1968, the Civil Rights March on the 5th of October 1968. And I've heard it said recently that people said after that march that nothing would ever be the same again. And so it turned out. I turned 6 the next day on the 6th of October 1968. And we then had 30 years of violence where communities were broken, where cultures were subdued. And we've now had 15 years of peace building. And John Hume and Bill Clinton, you see in the corner there, did an awful lot to bring that about. And Martin McGuinness and Peter Robinson, who are also there, now have the accountability to make that happen and to implement the peace. When I came to Derry first, we had a weekend of rioting around the annual Apprentice Boys Parade. We now have a 2-week cultural festival where all people come to celebrate that. And I was 50 when all of this happened. This was our year of culture, our first UK city of culture. And the people took to the streets to celebrate who we are, our place in the world, the way we do things here in Derry or Londonderry, and celebrating the artist in all of us. I was talking to Mary last night. Mary visited Derry recently, and she remarked to me that the stories from Derry now are about togetherness rather than division, and that has taken an awful lot of time and energy and effort to get to that point. And it's true, there was magic in the air in that year, and we'll show you a little bit of that magic before we finish. It's not the plan, it's the planning. And we worked really hard to find out what the root causes of the issues are in Derry. And they are a lack of prosperity, not enough enterprise, work, skills, and an inequality in access to services and opportunities. So what matters most in Derry is sharing prosperity and tackling poverty. And we authentically engaged the community in the analysis and development of the plan. We had 2 conferences, 12 working groups, 200 meetings, 83 people were trained to collect information and gather and analyse data, 14 focus groups, 6 town hall meetings, 5 integration meetings, and on it goes. Again, no shortcuts. Minister Mackay talked about empowering communities, and our experience is if you truly engage the community is empowered. And then we create a new possibility, something that people can believe in, something that's attractive to them. And a city at peace with itself and its place in the world is how it's turned out for us. And it is engaging, and it is attractive to people. And then you just have to come at it from a space of you can do this. You can do things to make a difference in the economy through jobs, skills and education. You can make the best, as Paisley is doing, of its heritage and its buildings. And you can make a difference in terms of health and well-being and community building. Wait for others and you'll wait all day. And the ambition came from a poet, not an economist, and it made a big difference. Seamus Heaney's from County Derry, and he was schooled in Derry City. So this became our ambition. During the City of Culture year, 2 weeks before he died, I got the opportunity to hear him speak these words. History says, don't hope on this side of the grave, but then, once in a lifetime, the longed-for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme. These words here were on the front of our City of Culture bid. So hope for a great sea change on the far side of revenge. Believe that a further shore is reachable from here. Believe in miracles and cures and healing wells. When we brought this to the local Chamber of Commerce, the local business people got it. One of them said, there's money in miracles and cures and healing wells. And it turned out that there was 160 million in miracles and cures and healing wells. Mr. Mackay spoke about empowering communities. You can't do regeneration to people. You have to enrol them in a possibility. You speak and listen to them in a way that they see a new possibility. So our economic, physical and social regeneration, renewal, building a stronger economy has become peace through prosperity. And it is evolving into shared peace through shared prosperity. And I and many other people in Derry stand for peace, shared peace through shared possibility. And the question for your regeneration community is, what can you create together that you cannot create alone? And you just keep asking that question. And ask it and ask it and ask it, and it will come out. And people have danced around accountability for the key projects, but you just never go away. Listen for the concerns, knock them off one by one and come back again. I work for an international agri-food company and part of my other work, and they say with a complex sale, you need to visit 7 times to get the sale. And each time they go out, they give each other an old Irish blessing. Don't come home without the order. And regeneration projects are a complex sale. 7 times in the asking, you need resilience. And the Minister also talked about aligning money and realigning money. Money is scarcer than it ever was, but nonetheless it's there for viable projects. So you need to make the most use of what you already have. Don't start asking for new money until you've done what you can with what you've got or realigned your current money. You will be amazed at how much money is spent in your town on services for your community. Ask how much of that is under your control. What tweaks could we make to make it go further? What agreements could we come up with that could make the money last further? And these are things that we talk about. These are things that have happened. We built a beautiful peace bridge. We had City of Culture. Everything Square and public places were rebuilt. The Guildhall was refurbished. Churches, cathedrals were restored. Buildings were lit up. We got an upgraded rail line. Broadband connectivity, second to none in these islands. Science park developments and so on. All of that adds up to about £400 million worth over the last 10 or 12 years. We also got increased civic pride, and as they say in the MasterCard ad, just priceless. But there's lots still to do. Our university has 3,500 students, and we wanted to have 10,000 students in skills of areas of the futures. We aim to have the best further education college in these islands, and I'm privileged to chair it. And through these two and our schools, we're building a skills escalator. We haven't yet made telling inroads into unemployment, into inequality, into health issues, but we will. So the key lessons: embrace your story, tackle your big issues. Our big issues were sectarianism and worklessness. And funny enough, we're making more headway in the sectarianism piece than we are in the worklessness yet. Build community. Community has a sense of belonging. Build a sense of belonging in your place. Ask people what they see, what they want. Don't be afraid of what they'll say. Be authentic, be real, be ambitious, and be courageous. And here's the big lesson. Whoever they are not coming to bail you out. This is for you to do, and you can do it. Thank you for listening. I'll pass over to Stuart now, and then we'll play a wee video at the end. Thank you.